for a conversation resonated well with some people and like to kind of pick up on that. I've been thinking more about it. We were talking about how years ago we used to make products like, service, appliances and everything else that could receive service and be repaired and stuff. Whereas now
And also they would last. The
they last
companies
long.
were proud of that fact that they had things that would last.
Well,
Yeah.
Stanley, remember Stanley Tools?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you broke one, they would replace it.
Right.
Timex watch,
Craftsman is the same way. Craftsman is the same way. Yeah.
but
And
Timex.
Timex also, what was it?
Remember that
Maytag.
thing says it takes a tick and keeps on
That's
moving.
Timex.
Jonathan Cameron
And then-
Swayze. Yeah, Jonathan Cameron Swayze said that. Yeah. And another thing is too, that the Maytag repairman, he was the one that he sat around, he's all dressed up in his uniform, ready to go, and he never received a call. He was, doing stuff around the office or the repair shop, waiting for a call,
Right.
and that's, I mean, they depend on, and look at, I have seen refrigerators bought and paid for. I mean, they're like 50, somewhere like $1,000 right now. Like and now they last 3 or 4 years. Whereas I had ones I was growing up with. My grandparents had up north that they had bought when they first started making refrigerators. I was in my 20s when they died. They were around for like 40 years at this point. The refrigerators. Okay, at that point,
And then that was before all this stupid. Well, maybe it's not stupid, but all this efficiency stuff came
Right.
out, and those refrigerators were looked down upon.
Well, another thing is too, it's ridiculous too. Like they banned Freon because it's supposed to be causing environmental hazards. Causing like a hole in the air.
Yeah, when's the last time you heard about the ozone?
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, here's a story I want to tell. There's a woman I used to work with at U of M. She was studied French. She studied in France. She could speak French fluently. She had a French boyfriend, and she was telling me that her boyfriend was like all pissed off because there was the European scientists are getting together, had this convention about about all these other environmental hazards they want to deal with, and they were put off that the Americans didn't show up about banning fluorocarbons, those the things we're talking about,
Right.
hairsprays and that kind of stuff. And we had already banned them 17 years previously. We're like damn near 20 years ahead of the Europeans, which always being held out as an example.
The European Union, though, that is even in so European Union, they think that their crap doesn't stink. They think that
that's the way they're being reported
Right.
by our media.
They're just, but no, it's really true. It's just like if you do something here, the European, they can actually fine you there.
All right.
And which is stupid.
Well,
Europeans need to stay there back at their places, and you can keep George Clooney in that group too. But the whole thing is that this whole European Union, because I was dealing with the European Union stuff when we were doing apps, when we were creating apps and everything.
okay.
And if you had anything that would go over that could go into somebody's information from the Europeans, right? If they downloaded it and they thought that this was a bad thing, they could fine us over in America, or they thought they could fine. I'm like, screw it, you can fine me all day long. I'm not paying.
But I don't understand how a fine fixes it. They should say this is not
Acceptable.
This is not acceptable in our country, and that's it.
Well, yeah, but that's not how they do it.
Fine, no, because they want to make money. That's all government wants to do.
And it's not a small fine.
It's thousands of dollars.
No,
but
Millions,
get back to John. I remember having our TV fixed like 3 or 4 times before we got rid of it. Having the TV repairman come in and check tubes and replace things.
And look at the cabinets for those heavy, the big ones are made up. I mean, they were like beautifully designed. I mean, they were repurposed. I know a lot of guys after the TV was no longer functioning and it could no longer be repaired, they ripped out the guts of it. They put panels in. They used it for storage spaces and stuff because they were elegantly designed.
Nice. There was a nice piece of furniture or something that you would be happy to show off in your house.
I saw somebody turn it in. I saw somebody turn their cabinet into an old. They ripped out the guts and everything, and they turned it into a aquarium.
Yeah.
Where the TV tube would be the aquarium, and they watch the fish instead of. I mean, well, if you compare it to the news that we get today, you might as well watch the fish and try to interpret what they're saying as news. Yeah, it'd be about the same thing.
That's basically. But yeah, I want to talk about that. It's not in here, but I wanted you to talk about that later because there's something about the news I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, that's fine though. I mean, and another thing is, another thing is you go to people's houses, and as you start making the newer TVs and the more modern ones, you'd go through the large one is there, the console's no longer working, but you had all the stack of these.
Nobody like a pyramid and nobody because they spent so much money on them.
Yeah.
You didn't want to get rid of them.
You didn't want to throw them away.
Yeah, I think
they're beautiful.
They're $500 or $600, $800. I mean, they had to finance them. Now you can go get a large screen TV for what, less than $200.
I think between $200 to $400. That's not bad.
No, I mean,
but it's a piece of plastic.
It's like basically is a screen. When it goes bad, they can't get into them. I don't think they can crack the case to get into them.
Well, they can because we got a mutual friend who does find TVs on the side of the road, and he's able to repair them.
See, that's a good thing. That's more
So
that kind of.
that's a
Well, I
trade.
mean, most of the time it's just luck. It's just him just looking and cleaning up boards
Right.
or whatever.
Well, if you want to address, the landfill space and also dealing with petroleum, because everything's plastic made from petroleum, like Landman that excerpt we go back to all the time says. I mean, we're taking a find of encouraging people to do that, maybe incentivizing that. I mean, saying, hey, we'll give you startup money to actually have to get the tools or the location to do this, so you can go around picking these things up, and maybe
But-
they could.
But part of the problem is they made TVs cheap enough to where it costs more
to get them
Sure,
from
to
the source,
service
right.
them than it does to buy a new one.
See, a friend of mine, well, a friend of a friend, he was part of a group that actually get computer parts, and they'd go through and pull out everything that was used for, like all the like little pieces of gold
Yeah.
or silver in
Right.
it, and they made quite a bit of money, and they were using it for like I think it was a charity. I think they raised money for charities doing that, and I think that's
But you and I both know when you try to do something like we tried to when we were doing books,
Yeah.
try to get people to donate to us. The first thing they were so suspicious of us that we were a charity and we wanted them to give us our books, like we were cheating them
Right.
out of a dollar book.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they're going to don't throw them away. You go, and they're saying something about they're going to throw them away or something like that, and then you go call them about it, and they're saying, "What are you going to do with them?" "Well, we're charity. We're going to do this with them. Church, whatever." Oh, they just ask a bunch of questions, and they
Like
just,
it wasn't worth it.
yeah, I was like, "You're going to
So
throw
we
them away."
stopped doing that. It was easier for us to go to Goodwill
Yeah,
And buy the
and,
books
and buy the books than try to deal with people.
with the
It
suspicion
was a waste
mind.
of time trying to get things from people for free because all of a sudden they think they got gold.
yeah. I mean, the kind of think about it. You and I were kind of involved in an environment or the environmental kind of awareness thing by trying to get books back in the hands of people instead of filling
Well,
up
we did. We got
landfills. Yeah,
thousands of books back to people, but then it just was not financially.
Sustainable.
because they kept on charging us different,
Yeah,
adding
it
different
started
charges to it.
costing more than because when you put our time, gas,
Right.
and materials,
But
it didn't make any sense.
But it was,
fun though.
You'd never find. You would be surprised at the books we found. You look at the titles and what size they were. Oh, it's like maybe 50 cents. You're selling hundreds of dollars. Hundreds of
Our
dollars.
biggest one was we got some religious books and we made over $500 from them. There's only four books.
4 books in it, yeah, because it was like theological library that people want to develop. So
Right.
and it was kind of rare to find them, and even they still have them available in print. But these were,
But it went to a good place.
Yeah.
I mean, the person that wanted it went to a good place. But the people were actually gonna use them. We're happy to have them.
So I mean, I love that kind of. I wish we could find a way of establishing something like that without to have the startup cost and
But
without.
people suck.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down. Anytime, even with our church. I mean, I'm sorry. We try to look at
The positive.
the
Right.
spit on you,
It's
but try to look at the good in people. But
Right.
but the more you try to do for that's another thing. We found if you give something away for free, people don't appreciate it. If you put a dollar value on it, suddenly the same thing becomes more appreciated.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's
Well, that's true. I mean, people think everything you give them free, they don't earn it. That's what kids are today. That's how they feel. I mean, most kids today, honestly,
But
everything's handed
that's
to them for
just
free.
the way that well, COVID was a big splitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a big change in everything.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to be. I think they're still going to be talking about and examining the sociological impact of COVID 30, 40 years out. I mean, I do. And as somebody just came out, I just saw, I don't know,
And
the
go ahead.
doctor said that 100,000 people have now probably have had done irreparable damage done their heart because of the vaccination.
Well, not only that,
100,000?
but it would be easy to do case studies because you could take somebody from Michigan and put same age,
Yeah.
same race or whatever, and put them up against somebody in like Texas or Florida, or even
Dakota, South
the
Dakota.
Dakotas.
I think that'd be kind of cohort study. If you especially got them in the same age bracket and with roughly the same medical
But
conditions.
they could
Yeah.
easily do. I mean, they could do it real time.
Right. And it's like, I think they're going to find out that and I still think
Wow.
Fauci and all those people should be held accountable. I don't think he made billions of dollars. He did personally. It wasn't for, his organization or anything. It was for himself. He benefited greatly off of this. Usually, anybody who does that, and he had to have because he mishandled AIDS back in the 80s,
But
and they still put him in possession of
but
that
that's
power.
our tax money.
Oh yeah,
But that's exactly what it is. The more you're incompetent in the government, the higher you get promoted.
that's right.
Except in the military. Well, in the military, after officer rank is
When
a
you get
lot
officer
different.
rank, yeah, than enlisted rank.
Higher officer rank, you can be incompetent.
Enlisted, we
because,
work for a living.
That's-
Officers, they just
in my
fall
opinion.
forward.
Was that same thing in the Navy too? It was like, don't call me sir, I work for a living. So
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay,
not
his name
required.
is- yeah,
In fact, Navy did win this week. I don't know if you knew that or not.
he didn't call
What?
you.
The Navy won this week. I
The
don't know if
game.
you caught
Oh, I
that.
didn't. I only paid attention to Trump. and
Okay,
Penny.
I kind of expected
But,
you. I
You
expected
were
you to get
talking
that.
about taxes, how we're not free men anymore.
We're not okay. We're not, and you got to. When I follow up on this, you're going to get crack up. Yeah, he and I, Steve and I were on the phone talking about taxation, and I was weighing in on what I always say about him. It's basically a form of it's tyranny, and it's also
Slavery.
slavery. Anyway, and it is. I mean, let's face it. You buy a piece of property, you put a house on it, and now you got the house paid for because you have to pay for the construction costs and all that stuff from the contractors, and unless you're really capable of doing that yourself, and you're still paying taxes when you go buy the materials to build the house on your own. Like, we found that out when you went to like Best Buy, not Best Buy, Home Depot or whatever. So anyway, and then they also want permits for it, and a lot of these permits are not really anything to do with safety or
No,
regulations that
because
are
we can
consequential.
prove that because we had when we were putting the roof on the church,
Right.
they're doing a repair. It wasn't the roof. The guy came by just to tell you that you owe money.
Right?
Didn't look at the roof, did he?
No.
No. And
He
he
just
was
came back as money.
Yeah.
just to get the money for the repair.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, man. I mean, it just all it is so they can keep these people in jobs. Well, I can understand people being employed, but I would like to, if I was employed in something, I want people to actually want what I'm offering, like the service or the goods that I'm offering, not being forced upon. I mean, the politician sits around, hey, we'll create a fee.
Right, but just imagine a guy who goes up in the woods that wants to be away from
Right.
people for 20 years, and he builds a nice little cabin.
Right.
He's got everything laid out, and then government finally comes up in there and estimates how long it took him to build that cabin and how long it's been established, and then do a retroactive tax on them.
Oh, the state,
They would. I could see
Yeah.
him doing that.
oh, the
They
county,
do.
the county of Lapeer. Okay, you know how people are talking about helping veterans by building these small homes,
Yeah.
real small ones. There's
The tiny
Lapeer,
homes.
yes, tiny homes. They prohibited some of. You got to be a certain square footage to be considered a house and be
Well,
allowed.
they're even doing that in North Carolina with the flood victims.
They're trying, are they
the
trying to
hurricane-
get tiny homes over there?
They won't let certain areas. They won't let tiny homes because it was in their ordinance that they couldn't have a tiny home. But and also the government is also. I don't know. Last I heard, Joe Biden hadn't lifted. What it is it's Joe Biden could do an emergency pencil whip
Right,
to let
exactly.
them have houses because now it's designated a flood zone.
Right.
So they can't a lot of these houses can't rebuild, and these people don't have the money to go anywhere.
Here's the thing too. Like John Stossel brings this up one time. He had a house on the banks of there of off the shores of North Carolina, I think it was, and it was a beach house, and it kept on getting pummeled by different hurricanes, and the federal insurance program kept on paying for him to get that rebuilt. He's a multimillionaire. Okay, now they allowed this. They basically encourage people to do that by allowing the payments to go through on the claims. Yet they don't want to do this to these people who've been established for hundreds of years, possibly in those regions. It was a fluke of what happened, really, for the most part.
Well, what is the underlying issue or conspiracy theory is that there's minerals to be had in those areas.
Wouldn't it be
And they want to reclaim it so they can get the minerals out of the ground.
Well, that'd be great if they did. Guess what? Give the people.
Not give the people.
No.
anything.
That's what I'm saying. Though, if it was, and they say the homeowner gets the benefit of it, you extract so much of tonnage of those minerals from their soil, what's underneath or where they existed, you pay them for it. I mean, wow, no, you can't do that. That's
And-
right.
And another thing that's happening to these people is corporations are coming in and doing land grabs.
Yep.
And giving them pennies on the dollar for their houses because they know that they don't have anything and the people are taking it. Where if they can wait it out a year, the value of their property will increase.
I could say I like business people, but I mean, I always thought if you had some idea for a business and you wanted to buy up property for it, you give a fair market value to the property. You get but they would do so. What I didn't like
Well,
about
they
Trump,
know what they're doing though. They're screwing these people
Yeah.
over.
I know a couple of people, but Trump did this. I mean, back then when he's still a developer, Trump, he got cities to declare eminent domain on properties and he was a developer, and that eminent domain is not meant to be used for a developer. It meant like for commercial development and private investments and stuff. It was made for like schools and churches and
But
not churches, but
what do
hospitals.
attorneys
Yeah.
do? They bastardize every law, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he took advantage of it. I mean, I don't know if President Trump would actually say that that was kosher or what okay to do, but he did that as a developer, and I didn't like that back then. That's one of the things when I first saw him running for president, I had issues with him.
But you know what? Here's the deal: as a developer and you own a company, you have to do that. I'm sorry, but you do.
Right,
For your best part of your company, you've got to do it. What's better for your company to make it exist?
But we don't have to like it.
You don't have to like it.
No.
But it's exactly what they did it for.
Yeah, but okay, but the people who own that property, he was paid taxes on it. Them getting a sole one purchase payout for the property. I mean, the structure.
But like
It's
you
still
said,
gotta be adequate.
Stossel was getting that money.
Right.
It was at least 2 times.
Right.
Of during that video that he said that he rebuilt or whatever
Right.
that money. Why can't you help these people out one time? And why are they giving? Because I guess Trump sort of put a stop to it through Congress not to give that money, but somehow the Biden administration scraped together what is it, $525 billion
Mhm.
that they're sending to Ukraine as a goodbye gift.
Yeah, it's,
But he couldn't do the same for these people.
No, but
put
that's-
something together, and these congressmen could tell me they couldn't put together a bill during the middle of the night because they always do this ominous bullshit.
yeah.
I mean, they say it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Oh, we're going to shut down government, but who really cares? But let's pretend like everybody cares. And then in the middle of the night, they put this stuff together. Look at right in our own house here in Michigan.
Right.
Democrats working almost 24 hours straight to push
Before they
through all these bills.
yeah, before the Republicans gain the House and
Right.
Senate. Yeah.
And you're telling me the U.S. Congress can't get together and put something together, a clean bill for these people in North Carolina?
Well, don't forget,
know-
like those and Lindsey Graham said though, our friends in in Israel are having people actually trying to kill them. I mean, so that's what he's concerned about.
Okay, so here's the deal: we should probably start doing on the show. We should probably do a Rhino report every day,
A
or
what?
a Rhino report.
Yeah.
We should actually make
I
these
don't know,
guys
Rhino is.
a Republican.
Oh, Rhino.
Rhino.
Because they're all, to me,
No, I mean, it'd
to
be
me,
great
they're
to
all
see.
the same, and I'm sure John thinks the same way. They're all dirty people.
Especially after 1 or 2 terms in office, they become part. They
money corrupts you.
yeah. Well, did you ever see the movie? Was it
Wall
God, it was
Street.
no. The Wall Street's a good one, but I'm talking about this guy who went to Congress. It was
Eddie
God,
Murphy.
no. He
Was
went.
it black and white?
No. This was an old. No, that wasn't Mr. Smith Goes Washington. It was one that's like
Just explain the
Evan
premise.
Almighty or one Evan Almighty or something like that. And basically, the character he goes into politics and he's
Wait, he
actually
was a politician.
he became a politician. He just got
Right.
elected, and just the people just brought him in, and there are the Democrats, Republicans. They was like, hey, we got this going on, and they're all part of it. I mean, that's such an accurate depiction. They were screwing the taxpayers. It was set in the United States, totally fictitious scenario. Basically, it was like about the developer wanted to buy he made a made a bad dam and stuff like that. It was really severely flawed, and there was going to be a flood coming out. It was going to actually destroy all the people beneath that,
Right.
that pathway and stuff like that. It was the guy from Steve Carell played
From The Office.
from The Office, and that was a good part because it showed the corruption.
And there was a TV show with Josh Brolin. You know, who I'm
Right.
talking
Yeah.
about. I don't remember the name of the TV show, but he was just an innocent dude with eyes wide open going to Washington. Didn't have any idea. Didn't have a staff or
Right.
anything when he got there. Was sleeping in his office, and one of the congressmen gave him the rundown on how things work.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's what it is, and then they have a
It
group of
it
people.
was a good show.
Yeah.
You ever want to see the best movie that explains Washington? Watch the Eddie Murphy version of him going to Washington.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
Because that's where he's a con artist, gets arrested, and somehow he actually ends up being elected into DC.
Yeah.
And so he gets there and he says, you know what, guys, you think that I was a con artist before I got here and I was a criminal and everything? What you guys have done in 24 hours, it's really funny because he catches the guy who's the Speaker of the House and everything like that.
But
He
that
catches
just
him on
shows you
corruption.
everything's out in the open. It's been exposed 20 times over, if not 100 times over.
And we
But
don't do a damn
nobody
thing about
does anything about it.
It's great. I mean, they make jokes about it. I mean, how many times you see a monologue like Johnny Carson, even going back then, making jokes? I mean, who else was it?
Joe Biden. How many times did he get caught lying?
Robin Williams used to rag on Joe Biden, how
Oh my God,
pathetic he was, He's been in office for 47 years before he became the
lied
president.
about his college.
He lied about college. He lied about he did that thing about that speech.
Yeah, he stole it from some. Was it an Irishman?
Yeah,
An Irishman speech, and
then
wrote it as his own, and even used potatoes. I think in it.
The first time
it's crazy.
The first time he ran, they said his political career was done. I mean, seriously, from all the crap he did.
Yeah.
And yet here he's a senior statesman now. Good girl look right here. And
senior statesman means he's a very efficient liar. He's a consummate liar.
That's it. That they perfected the way of lying.
Right.
That's it.
Look at him with the drones. What I've heard, what I've seen, it was on Joe Rogan. It's been all over the place that these drones are supposed to be sniffing for radioactive, nuclear. Yeah, that there are our own drones because they're saying they have the FAA lights on them and everything.
Yeah.
If there were somebody else's drones, why would they be all lit up in the middle of the night?
Why wouldn't they allow, if they were somebody else's drones, wouldn't they welcome us shooting them down?
How about the white balloons that were flying all over the country?
Right, but the most recent thing right now that we're talking about are the drones.
Right, I know,
but balloons, they could have been our balloons too.
Well, Trump did weigh in us. I don't know if you saw.
He did, but what he said is yes, the drones that we looked into, and then when they asked him if he knew anything about the drones, he said I have no comment, more or less,
right?
That he wasn't going to say whether he knew what they were or not.
See, when I first heard about drones coming in years ago, I thought to be effective, like to help dispatch when say a child came up missing. You have like maybe a river course, you set them up, and
to think that these things have that kind of capability, they can be hundreds of feet up in the air and be able to smell or detect radioactivity
signatures
on the ground. What else can they use these drones for? The marijuana, maybe?
Oh yeah,
or a drug house. But why don't they do that? Not necessarily for marijuana because it's legal in most states, but I don't understand why. Do we really want the police sniffing our houses?
No, I mean it's
coming down over John's house. Ooh, it's a drug house, and then go in and light up John's house.
Oh,
just find out John was taking some kind of asthma medicine or something that came up as a drug.
You see, in some areas, where the studio church is, I mean, this is considered a drug area. So every house around here, I know cops refer to them. Every person out here is a drug dealer, and every house is a drug house.
But
that's where they look at it.
It's amazing, though, what these drones are. It's amazing and it's scary at the same time. The government has something in that. If they have these drones, what else do they have? Obviously, if they have the technology to fly them in drones, they can drive by your house in a vehicle, probably.
Well, whatever it is. From Consumers Power a couple years ago, I got a card that says you open it up and says, and that's actually my house from the air, and it can show you where the air the heat is escaping from and stuff because it uses an infrared or the lights heat sensitive some kind of ray of light or something like that. This is my house. I mean, I can actually see distinguishing features. This is not just a random house showing you how they can. This is my house, and they show me where the leaks are going.
If you see that with a little red light, that is showing.
But that's what I was thinking is I know Google you can get out the street maps.
Right.
I wonder if you can also blur out the image from above too, because I'm thinking about, well, I don't know. I don't want my insurance company looking at my house.
I know. I mean, it's like, the thing is, there's like, they say, well, if it's out in the open, there's no expectation of privacy. And we'd like that for 1 week. We have to deal with the government, but then it could be turning weaponized against us. And it's most likely going to happen.
There was a person in California that the police were pulling him over and searching his car for drugs, and they didn't find any drugs. And he must have been texting the person because a text came up that said, did they find it?
Yeah.
And they put him in jail for
40 days.
Yeah, 40 days. And they asked the government what it is. We don't know yet. That's what they said. We don't know why we
arrested him.
We got to come up with a good charge.
They suspect something, but they're going to hold him in contempt until he gives up, because he was ordered to give the PIN up for his iPhone, and he didn't give it up.
Well, that's a good thing, by the way, people. If you don't know this, if you have a cell phone,
don't use face
or fingerprint. Use a number, because they can say, well, just hold up to your face. That's not any kind of
or they can
imposition.
put your thumb or your index finger on your phone in handcuffs behind your back.
Yeah, see, I just can't. See, I can't stand cops because they're willing to do anything the government comes up with, and it's just doing my job. Well, guess what? That's what the SS did.
And you can say, oh, I have nothing to hide. You don't. They can make something out of nothing.
They can, oh yeah, I mean,
Look
I've
at
seen
what
them do
Kamala
that.
Harris said. If
Yeah.
I,
You
if I have a
coulda-
bad day, I can sign something in the spot.
You
and put
could
you
have
in
you
jail.
could have said something in the text jokingly or not, or you're threatening somebody in the text, but you don't mean it. It's something dumb that you did, but they read that and you threatened.
Well, you've heard the expression, I'll beat you to the punch, right? When
Right.
somebody's waiting for somebody and you know what they're going to say and you say, I'll beat you to the punch. I said that one time, some guy was coming at, we're going back and forth. I said, beat you to the punch. I got flagged. I couldn't post for like 10 days because I was making you threatening threats of violence.
Because you use the word.
The expression beat you to the punch.
But what that means, if you literally did it, I'm going to beat you to the punch. I'm going to stop you from hitting me.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's what it's act of violence. You got to be there to be hit. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And I always thought, I knew that there were going to be pushback when we had more like what we're doing now. I knew that the government and
we've always been worried about it.
yeah, because we always knew that. We always were very. But the thing is, we still don't want to rein people in too much because we are at First Amendment advocates. We just don't have a huge amount of money to pay lawyers
We don't have
to
any
keep our
money.
ass out of prison. So
Any money.
so if you want to contribute to people who are First Amendment, protectors.
No, we'd rather not take money from people. It's easier that way.
Yeah, but I'm just joking, by the way. But no, I think that
No, you're not. We don't have any money.
no,
You're not joking.
no. But I mean, if we like people want to donate for something, the cause of being for the First Amendment, I think we're pretty the people that follow. But anyway, we will try to because the thing is, they weaponize their speech. I mean, they say, well, you have a right to say anything, but you don't have a right to consequences. I don't think you also mean to just you're prosecuting because somebody said something. Yeah, I think there's a fine line there, back and forth on that. Ridiculous.
But I was watching Trump's news conference with that Japanese businessman.
Yeah.
Right.
That made me so happy that these people were waiting to ask him all these questions, and he was actually answering them.
Right.
But after he gave them all that information that he gave, and I thought it was really cool where he said, I can't remember what the Japanese businessman's name was, but when he said that he promised $100 billion
Right.
and 100,000 jobs would be created, and Trump said, "Well, why not? Why not promise $200 billion and 200,000 jobs?" He said, "You're a very smart businessman." He said, "I'll try."
Well, the thing is, the Japanese do have a situation developed there. They have an aging population. The birth rates really diminished.
But what do you think about that? Already, Trump's not even in
I know.
office yet.
Yeah.
And you can't tell. Gas prices have come down at least 50 cents, right? Easily.
Right, but they've gone back up a little bit too.
They're
creeping back up.
playing that game again,
Right.
where they raise the price Monday through Thursday,
Right.
Right.
or Monday through Wednesday, and then they lower it for Thursday just to jack it back up for the weekend. They're
Right.
doing that game again. So,
Yo-yo game, yeah.
But when he gets in, he'll drop down.
but what I'm saying is he's already creating jobs. He's already made the stock market's been up record high.
Yeah.
I mean, record in the last since he was last president.
Right.
How about
Right.
that? Record high in the last 4 years, and it's still staying up there. So you can't tell me that Trump doesn't have an effect on the economy just by being Trump.
Well, no.
It's funny, those guys that we talked about on TikTok that were anti-Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they're out there saying, "Well, Trump hasn't done anything since he's been elected." And I'm thinking, dude,
He's
you
not
realize
the president.
he hasn't sworn in. And this guy,
But
he
does.
two young guys.
They did verify the 200 or 312 votes. They did verify. I mean that's happened. Electoral college
Right.
is done.
Yeah.
So that's the first step of him becoming president.
Did they chip away at the base for the saying about the popular vote? Did they finally say that was more towards Kamala Harris's favor?
No,
they're trying
he has the popular vote.
They were trying to chip away a couple weeks ago.
It's
They were
done. She couldn't. No, there was too much of a deficit for her even to even come out as tied.
Well, talking about Kamala Harris, guess what?
She's going to run for governor.
No, she's running for president in 2028.
Wow.
She's already
Maybe
announced
this
that
time
she's
she'll
coming
win a primary.
This time she might get a vote for the primary.
she
She
might
might get one state.
Yeah, she was.
But
sucker
she
for
didn't make
punishment.
it to. She
She made
dropped
this-
out before Iowa.
Yeah.
She dropped out before the first one because
That's what I'm saying.
everyone couldn't stand her.
I like to ask people who are so adamantly anti-Trump. Okay, see, we're going into 4 years, looking 3.5, whatever years of him being in position of presidency. You see a major increase in betterment of your life. What would you do other than that?
Well,
Like in the Orange Man, what are you going to go after?
First
him
thing
for?
they say, have to say is Trump has nothing to do with that. That's Biden's economy.
Yeah, well,
that Trump is in.
Yeah, I noticed.
That's
that.
the first thing they're going to say. That's the same shit they did with Obama.
Yeah,
Right.
Obama. Okay, and I remember that because Bush, saw the disaster stuff. He was in office when the disaster hit, and then
Bush caused the disaster.
disaster. Then Obama came in, and everybody's saying, "Oh, look at this miraculous course we have for recovery." He retained the same advisors that Bush had for the most part. He did.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he had the same people in place. I mean, he didn't change.
But
much.
it's the same thing. If you look at this shooting, was it in Minnesota?
It was Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
The
It was,
15-year-old
it's
girl.
bad. It was bad.
Right.
But first thing they did is come out with they want to ban guns. Okay, but the shooting in New York of the insurance guy, CEO,
Right. United.
it was his fault he got shot, and because of the turning people down. It's just how two gun related incidents where guns were used in both, but the media plays it two different ways.
And New York has got a very, very strict and very
Well,
regulated, gun market.
But the first thing they do when they find out the person, the shooter, is not favored in their favor, they go for gun. The gun,
Right.
the gun is the issue, and to try to take it off of why this person's all screwed up, and
then when this other guy that shot, this guy came from all their, Richie schools, private schools.
But then all this could be laid at the feet of Barack Obama.
Yeah,
he's the one that did it. He's the one that said that your kids, when they become old enough, should pay, because it's the same pay rate for everybody,
right,
and the same services for everybody. It's
Right.
not tailored
so like when we were growing up.
Yeah.
to you for your age and your ailments.
No.
Like, why should a young, healthy kid be forced to pay the same amount of money that we do for insurance at our age?
yeah, that's like, well, basically, if they call, let's face it, if you look at the, like a car, car insurance, for example, a person who's got a record for reckless driving is going to pay a higher premium for
Right.
that. So a person who's not engaged in or doesn't have prior
Who
existing
doesn't smoke, who doesn't
yeah,
drink,
right.
young, active in sports, is not overweight, doesn't really go to the doctor unless they have to, but has to pay the same amount of money as you,
Right.
or me, or even you.
That's stupid.
But Barack Obama did this.
Yeah.
And people don't even, they don't want to blame Barack Obama for the mess we're in for the insurance that we have.
They don't want to blame Barack Obama for half the crap he did.
Yeah, because
Well,
Because
but-
they don't want
but-
to say anything because they don't want to be called racist. You know
But
what?
you know what?
Be called
That
racist.
racist. Call me a racist every day. Call me anti-Semitic. I don't. What do I care? It's
like-
not going to
I'm
change.
not
my
running for
life.
office.
Your opinion doesn't really matter.
Right.
I hate to tell you, honestly, you can call us on whatever you want to call us. Does your opinion really make us sleep better at night?
I mean,
No.
as an HR person, did you ever field any phone calls of people reporting people for what they wrote on Facebook or sending emails?
No.
So it's not as prevalent as they make it sound.
see, I saw the precursor.
HR tries to make it more prevalent, and it's stupid. They don't need to.
Oh yeah, it was a big threat. I remember when I got hired into the McLaren the first time and the second time.
We can look at your HR.
We're gonna look. If you don't think that everything that you put on social media is a secret, you may not know, but we have ways of searching social.
How much
media.
time are you going to waste to do that?
It's like
you got a company that McLaren.
Do they actually do that? HR
No,
look at
we don't have time to do that crap.
Okay, but
Unless
like
there's
I said,
unless
the
there's
HR
an issue
person,
comes up, and
the
then they'll
person
look at it.
representing HR said that they've got tools to search.
Good luck having those freaking tools because they don't work.
well, I'll tell you what, though, I've seen this like
Now they might with AI.
the university, the campuses and stuff like that. That I saw was going to down the road for everybody else back in the 90s. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s. I saw what was going on coming down the road because I saw like, oh God, I mean, it was so basically circumspect. You couldn't say anything. You would be called on the carpet. You would be vilified, written up.
Okay,
It was
so-
really bad.
I probably going to walk away from everything on HR. You're probably going to think that I have nothing I learned from HR. But here's the deal. What I don't understand, when I walk out, when a person clocks out at 3 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, you no longer own that person.
All right.
That contract you have with that person working back and forth, if he goes out there at 3:01 and he works first shift and he starts typing out how stupid everybody is in the company, well, why can't he say that? It's America. We actually talk about free speech. You want to tell everyone else they got free speech? You should be able to tell these people, and if you hired that person, now if you're trashing the company and you're defaming the company, I might come back and say, hey, you know what? When it comes to your bonuses, I'm going to read these and pull them down.
Right.
But HR at McLaren, when I was at HR, I had 30 different departments I was over. And I was the HR consultant of those. You know how much time I had to go looking at people's
None, because
if I saw you in the middle of a arbitration, if I saw you in the middle of a you know, if we had to put a
I'd never see HR because I was a 7P to 7A or 7:30.
So yeah, they're always long gone.
They're gone. You
Gone
ain't
2
gonna-
hours before you got
I
there.
got there after they were gone, and
You got out
got
before they
off
got there.
before they got there in the morning.
The only time you ever see anybody do have them on a PIP or you have them on something like that. That's it.
What's a
And
PIP?
performance improvement plan.
Okay.
Why would you talk to you?
Because you have to be there with the supervisor when they put this
Yeah.
when they put it together. So the supervisor's gonna screw it up. Because
But
sometimes
what I've seen about McLaren, well, everywhere, every civilian organization that I
Right.
work for, they don't say anything until after the fact. They
Right.
never when things are becoming the issue, they don't try to fix it. It's always they gather their paperwork
yeah, the CYA files
and
come your
slam
ass.
you with it all of a
Yep.
sudden. Whereas in the military, you get performance. It's either if you at the end of the month, regardless, every 30 days you had to have a performance
Eval.
counseling.
Yep.
And it was either good or it was bad. And even if it was good, there as a leader and my leaders, even if you were a stellar soldier, there's always room for improvement somewhere. I
Right.
mean, you did put out and you gave the accolades, but
Right.
you said there's some things you can work on for next month.
Right.
So I think that'd been probably pretty good. We didn't have the only time we were called to have space somebody is when we screwed up at the university. I mean,
But it was coaching and
Yeah.
teaching.
see, they didn't do that.
Because in the military, one of your proudest moments is when somebody can do your job.
Yeah, because basically that's one thing I did learn. One guy they accused him of trying to hold back information, not be sharing of information, the things he discovered during his time, and when he was like in this position. And some people said that's really not making you more invaluable. That's actually making you look like you're not a team player, and also and trying to seclude everybody. Seclude
One
people.
down. It was always one down and
Right.
two up is what because you need to know your job and the person under you,
Right.
and then you should want to
Look at that.
excel to be two up.
Well, that's most managerial of their job. They want you to be trained so well that you
Yeah.
can train other people and you can step in and fill the roles.
I've
if
been
you
in
have to.
places where trying to make improvements where they say, "Are you trying to take my job?"
And that's
No,
where
I'm not trying to take your job. I'm just trying to make things easier, and you can take the credit. I don't care, but this might help
that's the
help
difference.
everybody.
The difference between civilian and military. We didn't give a crap when we were doing our job. If somebody was better than us in our spot that we were working, we
No,
worked together as a team.
because you wanted to get it done, and you wanted to get it done right.
Yeah.
I didn't care about. It was the outcome that meant the most.
Well, that's the view I always had. I was a supervisor. When I trained somebody to do something, and I thought I had it down right because I worked on that job for several years. I had some people surpass me, and they found shortcuts to get things done, and everything. All the checkoff points had to be checked, were checked. I went, hell, I mean, I didn't feel bad. I was like, maybe I did a good job, but maybe he or she's got natural talents or abilities to break things down better. I mean, I took it as it was a good thing for the entire unit, department.
When I started Our Town Snacks, when I really started with the chocolate and everything that we started doing with, I was out there learning all the different tricks to cut it down, cut the times. And then when Caitlin and Julie came in, I was able to show them that time.
Right.
And Julie's taken a lot of the stuff that I've done. And then Sandy, who now runs my production side, that woman does it better than I do.
I was like,
Not because she's a woman, just because she can.
No,
do
she
it.
does. No, it's not because she's a woman, but because she knew how.
What do you mean by that woman?
That? No, I'm sorry.
that person.
I'm sorry. Sandy does it better than I do.
Well-
I'll say it to her. I'll tell her every day how much I appreciate her and how she's a lifesaver to me.
I remember when I was going through, I was reading a book about how to train people, and I was also in a couple of seminars, and they said they give the example of Henry Ford. he'd find the line jobs and stuff, like all the connection to the jobs, at the plant, and he'd find somebody who was a lazy worker, and they'd get him in that role, and they train him how to do it, and they expect it of him, and then they'd follow this person through and make sure they were doing exactly what they were told to do, but finding steps to how to make it shortcuts, and then they would adopt that as the standard for
Right.
anybody else being trained in that position.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's not necessarily lazy, is it? I'd call that an innovative.
Well, see, they call it I think that's how they refer to it during the training. And I was like, yeah, it's innovative. And some people, they just say, some people just engage in something that they think so important, and in ultimate reality, it's not. They can remove that. They don't have to have that crucial much concern on that, and they can go to another step
I mean,
quicker.
but how many times have we been focused on something that think it's so important that we got to do it, and we don't do it? Like when we were going through the process of getting our tax exempt,
Yeah.
we thought that we were focused on that, and that's all we wanted to do for how many months?
Seven, 8
Okay,
months.
and
Yeah.
now that we've got we're almost done.
Right.
Does it really matter?
No.
Is it going to really help us?
Not really. No,
Mm.
really. Because let's face it, we're not making money now, so they can't come after us because okay, here's what we made. That's zero. Yeah.
It's
And
not
guess what
like
we got?
we're taking
Coming zero.
donations hand over fist.
Yeah.
Not right now.
No, it's like no. Another thing is too, we do have a tendency to overemphasize stuff. There's something looming in the foreground. Somebody's warned us about it, and we get fixated on it. It turns out to be a nothing.
I mean, look at all the money I threw at the microphones,
Right.
and it turns out it was just old crappy cables.
right. It's like the cables
So
are
at
like,
least we got extra working microphones now.
yeah,
So we can bring more people in.
and they got another 15 to 18 years of use because that's basically the same model we had before from the same company. The Audio Technicas, by the way, these are great side address microphones. we'll give an unsolicited plug for the company, but no, that's great equipment. But no,
Yeah, I mean, because we've got some of the microphones that we use are they're 14 years old.
14 years old and they still work. But I mean, these work better because I didn't know much about microphones. I figured what could wear out on, but there are things that can work out on, and they're certainly in the wires of the
Wire.
cables.
But like I said, I threw money at the microphone, and it turned out to be
Just the wires.
the cables.
Yep, the cables. It just is. We tried the old microphones out with them, and they sounded better. But
Mhm.
these sound even
like I
better.
said, now we got 2 or 3 extra microphones.
So we got a lot of stuff here. But no, like the Rhino Wayne rain may be finally ending as America first gains momentum. The mega, which I think now is going to, I would say, run with it, guys.
Romney the other day during an interview
Right.
admitted
The
that
MAGAs.
the MAGAs are in office now. That the Republicans are now MAGAs, and Trump is in charge of the MAGAs.
Oh, that had to take a lot of him because he's an arrogant man.
Well, he also admitted that the next presidential campaign
He's going to be
is
JD Vance, he
Vance.
thinks,
will
because
be the leader of the
and he also said that he likes JD Vance, but that might be a bad thing. Like by Romney.
That's like a kiss of death.
Yeah, but he did give more or less endorsed them, in my opinion.
So I don't know how much side he is to the family of the Romney family here in Michigan, but the Romney family tends to run the Republican Party. Did you here in
They
Michigan?
ran.
They still have a pretty good strong
No.
president, don't they?
No,
Who's more connected? The DeVos family and
no,
I would say
no. It's the Trump family.
But I mean, in Michigan,
in Michigan, DeVos.
DeVos, yeah. It's
No, what was that? He was in here. He ran for office. He had all the was it Subways or
Kupiec.
He's the man for Michigan.
Yeah, just I know there's all I heard is rumors because they wanted me to go to.
He's the one that's in charge of Michigan right now.
That's good because the Romneys are basically they didn't do anything. They had the ball in their
No.
hands. So they
But
didn't do
getting
anything.
back to the
So they take
Romney
money.
that we're talking about,
Yeah.
he admitted that it's over for the Rhinos. But
they're not going to join the Democratic Party.
suck because they're going to give Trump. They're already kicking out that they can't do two. I forget what the name of that bill. They can't do two bills for Trump in the same year because Trump wants to do one for taxes and he wants to do one for the border.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a job.
And they're saying that they can't recession. I can't remember the name of the bills. Newt Gingrich was talking about it. He was the last time it was done. It was done. He was the one that did it and said yes, it can be done, but they have to work. What do you mean work hard?
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
They
when
have
they
to-
want to shit a bill out, they shit a bill out.
They have to stop screwing their
I mean, if it has anything
screwing
to
their
do with
aides.
Israel or
is the Ukraine.
or Ukraine,
They come out tomorrow and do it.
They come out. Yeah, they come out yesterday. Like they already got them written. But something. Come on, Trump has the House, he has the Senate, he has a popular vote, he has everything that would you would need for a mandate. Yet our stupid Republicans want to give him a hard time already, and he's not even in office.
I think he's stupid if they think they want to get elected by the people who voted Trump in, and that probably where his
Well,
constituents are included.
well, you
I
see
think I'd
how
go along
he
with it.
changed. What was her name?
The
Oh,
Ronnie,
the one that came out against
JD
Hegseth.
Yes. Johnny Ernst.
Joni Ernst was
Okay.
saying, "Oh, I don't know," and then somebody said, "Well, Elon Musk says that you can be primary." Well, he seems to be a fine man.
It turns
What I mean is, but that's what Trump needs to do: is screw these. If they won't work for you, they're your enemy.
Yeah.
Put them on that list and get rid of them, and put somebody in who will. I'm sorry. People say, "Oh, that's not right. That's not." It's government. I'm happy to get some idiot out of there to do the right thing.
They're dead
'Cause
weight.
that's what I see Trump in there to do the right thing, to fix things.
I think he's following. He doesn't come here. I have a vision. He's saying what you. I've listened to what you.
This is what
Here's
I'm
how we're
gonna
going to
do.
go. Yeah.
Right.
No,
I
none
think
of
he's
this.
got a lot more. One of the things that I gave him a lot of respect for this last time, he actually went to barbershops. He actually got out of that. He's got a lot of information.
I think he's always been doing that. This
Right.
is just the first time that these
You already saw
cameras
it.
made a big deal of it.
Right.
See, I think that. I mean, the other thing is that's a thing. If you go want to know to get a feel for local politics, that's the place to go. It's a barbershop.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, the black job, the black.
Can you
barber-
name one barbershop around here that you would go to?
Well,
to learn anything.
one
We don't-
across
we don't
town is
have a
pretty good.
really big, well, except for our friend Corey.
Yeah, Corey.
His barbershop you might want
Yeah.
to go to.
Because it's like he's.
I stopped going to barbershops a long time.
Well, we go to Great Clips,
yeah, because it's like cheaper. But
and they give good haircuts.
yeah. I'm wearing this because my hair is like chaotic because I took a shower before here, washed the hair, and it's just all over the place. So I put this on.
At
there.
least you have
The
to
hairs.
worry about go all
a
over.
few
the
of
place.
them, a few of them, but
Yeah, this month does have an hour in it.
yeah.
So, what I was going to talk to you about was about George Stephanopoulos. You see that they finally sold. No, which
Yeah, but
it goes to your
what
point.
it is, what they caught him in a lie
They
because
did.
he did have what's her name on the
Mace, Nancy Mace.
no, he didn't have that's the one that he got caught in. But before he had the person that had said that Trump raped her.
Oh, that girl that says she fantasized about being raped and all that.
Yeah, that went off the TV and took a CSI or something from the crime series and used it for her own story, saying Trump raped. But he said, "How do you feel that Trump is not going to have any the allegations for the rape
Mhm.
have went away?"
Hmm.
But he said that there, yet he said that Trump raped
Right.
her,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's how he screwed up.
Well, somebody makes a point too about him. He's like
But-
he's
but-
not an honest individual. He spent his entire part of his career was to
But,
cover
but
up
what they were
politics.
showing by him doing that he knew
Right.
that he was never charged with that. But yet he chose, like, I don't know, 6-7 months later to say that he raped that woman.
Right.
So that's what he got in trouble for.
Yeah.
And all these leftists are up in there. Oh, what about freedom of speech and the power of the press? You're making him. No, you can't lie.
Yeah, it's like I mean they say you're like the old expression is you're entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And that's the truth about any of that.
But
I mean,
I'm sure if he wouldn't have made that admission, I mean, if he wouldn't have said what he said to her early, the whatever her name is,
I can't
she's
remember.
so
Yeah, she's
unforgettable.
She's ugly, but yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he made that admission there. I mean, they're using that. He knew then, and he can't say now that he didn't know because he said it back then.
Yeah.
That's what they're getting him on.
And-
It'd be like it'd be the same thing doing something to you as a regular person
yeah,
for libel.
it's like they still go after you. Yeah, he's not protected. He also there's all kinds of rules on to alleged journalism, that you're supposed to follow. But
I mean, you can report stuff as you know it
right,
from in the third person, but when it's coming directly out of your mouth,
you're supposed to use terms like allegations and supposedly and allegedly and stuff like
and
that.
he didn't do that.
No, see, you got to do that. I mean, another thing is if you say something that's really truthful and they want to come at you for libel. You got to prove absence. You got to keep and maintain yours. You
But-
got to keep absence of
But
malice.
Nancy
But this-
Mace also made him feel doubly bad
Right.
because she is a rape victim. Or
She's a rape victim.
so
And he had nowhere to go
and
with
then
that.
that's where she slapped him back. It's pretty good. And if
But
you
what
want
it
to
does-
see somebody be shocked by the way that somebody's talking to him.
I like to see that because Nancy Grace is always on those things.
Not
about-
Nancy Grace.
Oh.
Nancy Mace.
Nancy
Nancy
Mace.
Mace. Okay, Nancy Grace. I got confused there. I was like, Mace Grace. Okay.
Okay, but here's the best part about it is what it does is it actually says that and people are saying this, that the mainstream media, what we've been saying for the last 3 months, is actually coming out in other people's viewpoints, that the mainstream media right now, the legacy is gone.
Yeah.
And it's died. And there's no more
What
legacy.
did I said
We've been
that
saying
ever
it.
since we started. That
Right.
There is no legacy. Well, legacy means yesterday, I guess.
The glitter's
Yeah,
gone.
well,
Yesterday's media, they're no more. Especially if you look at CNN and MSNBC, have over 55% of the people have dropped. They've dropped that much, where they're only getting where they were getting in the millions. Now they're getting like 900,000, 600,000
It's like that's not.
viewers.
They're averaging around 500,000.
They're not even. How is?
And-
I don't even know how these businesses are even, unless they're getting money from the government to
Subsidize
to
them.
subsidize these networks, because
Well, they're probably getting it
they're
from the
not
Democratic
solvent.
Party.
No,
They can't be solvent.
They're probably getting it from the Democratic Party. That's all they're getting the money from. Because honestly, think about it. As a
It's
business,
not money. It'd be better to find some
as much as you don't like,
do a study and find some young kid who people like,
and go after. Well, that's
and
what
let-
Trump said. Trump said that
and
Barron was the
let
one
them
who
be
did that.
them be the mouthpiece of the Democratic Party, rather than some old dried up. I've seen two old dried up. Leslie Sawyer, is that her name?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
is it Sawyer?
Diane Sawyer, isn't it?
No, that's
Diane-
Leslie's.
Anyways, it was the CNN person talking to the 60 Minutes person about how the media, how everything's out of control, and how they're not going to be able to fix it and get things back the way it
We
was.
can't control things like we used to.
Well, and that's the whole
No,
thing.
that's
They're
what
trying
they
to
were
get rid of
saying.
TikTok.
Honestly,
They're trying to get rid of TikTok, and they're asking.
no,
They're asking
they're
it to go
not.
to- no, they're
That's
trying
the-
to.
Well,
No, they're not.
I think the congressmen, senators are all for it because they don't want anybody showing what they're
They're
doing.
not trying to get rid of TikTok.
They're trying to get rid
No,
of.
they're not.
Okay.
People can say they are all they want.
They said
they're
that there's
not.
a bill.
If they're
They
not,
said there's a bill out there this summer.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried
I don't
about it
think
either,
anybody
because of-
else should be either.
No, I'm just saying that that.
Trump already said he's going to look into it and see what he can do.
Well, like
So-
Trump said, he's like, why would I want to get rid of the one thing that actually helped me get elected?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's stupid.
Yeah, that's for Democrats. That's what I mean. We can't let that happen again. You know,
Well, the Democrats, okay, so here's the thing. In 2020, the Democrats had what they thought they had all the different things. If you've watched the last 4 years trying to switch around,
But would it
So
matter?
Democrat
Okay,
had
if the Democrats
Facebook
still
and
had
then-
control over Twitter, Harris wouldn't have got elected either.
No,
Even with
but they
they're
had
so
the ability to
stupid there,
shut Trump
and then-
down.
Big
back in
deal.
the-
Nobody,
but
but
that's not-
nobody was on Twitter. There's
So
more.
Trump came out and said, I'll create.
Were
Truth."
you on Twitter back then?
Yeah.
What did you do on there?
Yeah, nothing. Just tweeting
No,
stupid things.
But
on
I'm-
advertising.
But Twitter's not that great, anyways. John can
No.
attest to that. I mean, we put a show on. We got every show we do. Like even this show is going out on Twitter right now. We don't get like millions of views. We're happy when we get maybe
a handful.
25.
yeah, it's like it's
But
that's
the thing is that 4 years ago, the Democratic Party thought they had everything in control. When the Democratic Party had this
4 years ago, 3 months ago, they thought they had everything under control.
No, I'm talking about
they
had
thought
Twitter,
Harris was going to win.
they had Twitter and they had Facebook, and all these other guys were just doing whatever the Democratic Party wanted them to do. now,
but what's
They
happening
don't.
is
American public said, "Screw you. We want to go this route."
right. But if you look at Twitter and even Twitter, Facebook, all of them, nobody gives a crap about those places anymore.
No, I think Facebook's kind of
Facebook is garbage.
Yeah.
we're going on Facebook. So hi guys.
Yeah, we're going live on Facebook right now.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
But Facebook is garbage.
Well, it is. It's degenerated quite a bit. It
I think
has.
people are over. I mean, when things are novelty and it first comes out,
Everyone jumps on it.
everyone wants to be on it. But now there's so many stupid ads and scams on there. What's the point?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't know
I
what's
mean,
real,
we
what's
use
not
it
real.
because it's just easier because you can to transfer files and different things
Right.
on Facebook. between the
you.
computer
Yeah.
and our phones. It's
Right.
just a lot easier to transfer information. Then we never transfer anything that's important.
No, because it's probably too scrutinized or leaks.
Well, I
or
mean,
whatever.
you're proof of that because you got in trouble for something you said in a message.
Yeah, I did. I got said something about it, and yeah, I got blocked for
10 days.
8-10 days. Yeah, I mean, I think I
Must have
actually
killed you.
huh? Yeah,
Must have killed
I got a
you.
friend that actually's got more of a better record for getting banned from Facebook than I do.
You got a friend that's like on his
I got one
fourth
time.
or fifth.
Fifth account.
One account, my first account I had, I didn't, when I wasn't saying any crap to anybody, that one got banned.
Yeah, they took an account away from me. They wouldn't tell me why.
Yeah, they just said you just didn't. You
I
didn't.
don't even know what I did. I didn't do anything. You see, I never do. I ever post
No,
anything?
you don't post anything controversial. I just post.
Christmas
Just,
tree.
yeah, yeah,
Christmas tree in your front room.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
Christmas tree and and
Or
the
you
picture.
watching the other day or something.
That's Mr. Moss.
Mrs. Moss show.
Yeah.
What's going
Yeah,
on
that's it.
Mondays? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a good show, by the way, folks. You should watch it.
That's why I posted it.
Yeah.
Let's want to show Mr. Moss. He's on our TV.
And it looks
My
really
TV.
good on that big screen too, doesn't it?
Not very. It's 42 inch.
What?
I'm not bragging.
It's 42. Isn't that brag? Yeah, the other you probably got like a 6-foot screen, right?
Size doesn't matter. No, I talked to Julie about getting a bigger one, but it actually matches our thing. But no,
But
I think it's like 42 or something.
So I got a smaller, the 27-inch
He
screen.
doesn't even watch TV.
I don't even watch TV anymore. I don't. But I mean,
You don't?
no, I don't.
I watch the internet on TV.
Yeah, I just
I watch all the shows I want to watch. I mean, like this are the different shows or movies. I don't watch news anymore.
I got this iPad set up in a stand right by my chair. I got to route it out to the it's a Hardin speaker,
Yeah.
Bluetooth. Man, that sounds phenomenal. I can't go back to watching regular TV because it's such a great
Right.
sound. When I'm watching a movie and it's got the music playing or something, I can hear everything. It's almost like a theater experience, only smaller screen, but sound is almost like the theater.
Projected up onto the wall. They got those now.
Yeah, those are getting cheaper too. Because that was
Actually, I bought one of those big 10-foot blow up ones.
Yeah.
And it only cost me $79.
that's not bad.
No.
Because we used to have data projectors at U of M. When we first get them, they could show movies through them, or hook up a VCR through them or a DVD player, and then they're like thousands of dollars back when they first came out.
Yeah.
Now and like $200 or $300 for the lamp if they went bad. $400
Yeah.
depending
Now
on
you,
the brand. Yeah,
heck, now you can just put it on a projector, set it up there. But I like the fact where Mike Lee actually did accuse Liz Cheney of covering up the FBI's role in the and then for the January 6th thing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
well, I think it's like I think she did, and I think there's a lot of people that are accountable for trying to make it bigger than it was. I think they lied and they blew it out of proportion. They threw that to the people and said, oh, look what they did. We're
But they
terrorized.
repeat it like it's
Yeah.
like it's really true.
Yeah, it's like I did.
These people were so bad that they walked through the Capitol,
It's-
being led by the
Security
Capitol
guards, yeah.
police.
It's like
It was so bad.
It's-
The doors were unlocked for them to go into. Yeah, they did such a bad thing.
Well, Dan Kildee said he was traumatized by it.
That killed you. Yeah, that's why he didn't run again, right?
Yeah, it's like maybe you had a fig. I mean,
No, he probably didn't run again because he was worried about getting caught up in something.
yeah, it's like I'm going to get out of here before that breaks. It's like a
Well, look at
plausible
Ray.
deniability.
Well, look at Ray. I think Ray's doing the same thing. I think he's running for the hills before Trump gets inaugurated, which he is.
Yeah.
And he's
Well, but
resigning.
the thing is, they're
so he
going to
doesn't get
find that. Okay, they're going to find that Trump's not going to go after anybody. He didn't go after Hillary Clinton.
He didn't go after Comey.
But he didn't run saying he was going to go after anybody.
No.
I mean, he's
The only two people he should have gone after, which he was going after, and they just had no backbone in any attorney general, was that Schrock and who was that, Peter Schrock and his girlfriend, that were saying, "Hey, we're going to do everything we can to
That
destroy
one-
him."
I just
That
thought
was through texting,
Yeah.
and they should have got him. They should have got those guys.
No, I
That's
think
all I
think that I think Trump's got to have to go after some people
yeah, you
because
can investigate, but do you really want? He doesn't have 4 years to do bullshit.
Okay,
like
let's talk about that.
No,
Talk about that
he
Trump.
wants to get stuff done. He doesn't have time to be all hung up in all these stupid
Okay.
investigations.
Stay away from Trump on this one, but talk about the people that did get arrested on false charges because of what the FBI was
We talking
doing.
about January 6th,
Yeah,
who did no violence, or-
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Shouldn't they be able to have the ability?
he already
to
said
sue-
he's going to do it.
to sue
Should
these
they be
people.
able the ability to sue the January 6th committee?
Oh, I think so.
Maybe, but that's on them to do it. What I'm
No,
saying
it's not on
is,
Trump. I'm just saying, should these guys not be able
if
to
they
do it?
want to, they're U.S. citizens. They can do what they want. But
I think they should.
Okay, that would be great if they did. But what I'm saying is Trump doesn't have time to be hung up in all this bullshit.
No,
He didn't run on I'm gonna go and investigate everybody. That's not
No.
why he was elected.
no.
He was elected to fix things and get our gas prices down and get food costs down.
Fix the
And
border.
energy prices down
And
everything
well, the
else.
border's in there somewhere, but I think food and gas are probably the two most important things to people right now.
He just has to go back and reverse what Biden did,
Yeah.
and then he cut the border down. I'm sorry, you know.
But
But
I just don't agree with
I don't
a
think he,
bunch of investigations being all over TV every day, and
no.
putting out all the good things, all this white noise bullshit, and then Trump has to fight for the good
But a
things. that he
class action
does.
against these
But-
congressmen and senators, I think it would be a great idea.
I got to go. I got to agree with you on that because we just can't let it
But who's
go.
gonna? But okay, who's we? Are
We-
you
I
going to
mean,
be involved?
No, but I mean,
No, the people that got their
Fine,
lives
but I'm
screwed
saying
up
if they
should be
want
able
to do it, should have, would have, could have is not what we're talking about here. We're talking
All
about
right, but see,
Trump.
if that was you, I'm not talking about Trump. Let's take Trump out of it, because I agree with you 100%. Trump should never go after him because he's not going after him. But I'm talking about the January 6th people that went in there and just was following these different people.
I don't know.
That
I just
been
think
arrested and thrown in the
we're
middle of a
talking
freaking-
about nonsense right now.
But if that was you, wouldn't you want to go after and sue these guys?
I'm
that put
sure
in
the
there?
I would.
average person would want to, but I don't talk about it like we're going to be involved in anything. And
Okay,
we
no.
should.
okay, we didn't mean trying to personalize it. Now I can understand your point, but
Okay. Well, here's the deal. Trump did dismiss the charges
What-
against New York Mayor Adams. He's going to be
No,
pushing those. He's
no, it
considering
says-
pardoning it. He's going to be considering pardoning Eric Adams for what they're going after him for.
I don't think that's what it says. I think should he consider doing it?
Hmm.
Or I don't know what number it is that you're reading.
number
Six.
6. Yeah.
Talk about something else, John.
Okay. I do think getting back to the I'll see what I saw something that was good about there. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't believe this. Biden says members of Congress should be banned from trading stocks. In an exclusive interview, President Joe Biden stated he believes that the members of Congress should be prohibited from trading stocks, reigniting debates over ethics and conflicts and of interest in Washington. I don't know if Nancy Pelosi would be all that hot up about this or anybody else. That's what they get in that damn business for. That's what
But
it
he
is.
did say it. He did start a conversation that Trump could finish. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it because they're going to have to sign off on anything that they're the ones that made up the rules.
Right.
They're the ones that are going to have to change the rules. And do you really think that they want to change that rule?
I don't think the
The
congressman.
same thing is,
how do you-
and I don't think that. Okay, I don't think it was an amendment that changed that it would take an amendment to change how many years
Constitution.
people could be in Congress, and I don't think they're going to.
They're not going to go after that.
Well, no, they're not going to change. I don't think those things are going to change. Do you?
No, I think it's a good conversation, but yeah, it's not even a good conversation. I don't think it's going to go anywhere because you got to depend on these people to pass the legislation that's going to affect them. And it's not going to do
No,
that.
but it could be used against them at the ballot box.
Yeah, that's about the only thing to impeach their character or lack of.
Yeah, but you know what? Now, how many people actually pay attention to that, though, Steve? I mean,
You
honestly,
do?
We do, but how many people?
No, I'm not saying we do. I'm saying you do.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
But I pay attention to the political side because it really has a lot to do with roll down spots. But I'm trying to say,
But we
but
don't.
if
I
you
don't
sit down and
have
talk to
a-
an average person and you say, okay, hey, listen,
But
do you think anything about the Congress stock trading and they
yeah, that's why I always, when I can vote for a Republican against anybody who's going to Congress,
right.
that's who I vote for. So yes, I do.
Okay.
Anyway,
But getting back to Eric Adams, what it says is that they're saying that Trump hinted at giving him a pardon. That's what the
I think he
reporters
should.
took it.
I think
And if he can, yeah, because it is federal.
Yeah.
It's not, so he can pardon him if he wants to. And again, he should, because if you listen to Adams talk, he was a Republican before,
Right.
who switched to Democrat, and obviously to get elected.
I'm fixing to think he's going to go back to Republican.
Well, I'm sure, because I think he would have a future in the party. I mean, because like me and John talked before, and I think we talked about it in the show, they made him out to be an idiot. They painted him as stupid, didn't they?
yeah,
The whole time he was running.
Yeah, but he's not. He's well spoken. He picks his words.
Then they made him out of some party guy. All he's doing is spending money for New York and partying. And when he just stood up and said, "Hey, you know what? I don't think we should have these people come to our thing."
Number
problem with that.
number 15 is for you, John.
Oh, okay.
Oh my lord!
Just don't read it word for word. Just
don't do it like I do.
Okay.
So Harvard's not going to have that many. It's showing that there's a study done that they're tanking. They're not going to produce any more Barack Obamas or what's the
Jackson.
Oh yeah.
The
Can you
Supreme
read
Court
it
guy.
then? If
Yeah,
you can?
yeah. I can say, yeah, black enrollment at Harvard Law School has sharply declined, promoting concern that New York Times about future leaders like Barack Obama and Justice Ketanji.
So is that going to be such a bad thing?
No, I mean, it's like, well, one thing it's like, I have a real issue with like Harvard, Princeton, Yale being vaulted over what the realities are. I mean, they always say they want change in society, but you're going to the same
they're all
educational institutions.
The inbred families are the ones that
Yeah.
are reaping all the
Well, this was all
rewards
DEI
for going
stuff,
to that school.
or CRTs. This
Yeah.
is all CRT and DEI they're
Yeah.
pulling out of it.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, it's like it's
No,
diminishing.
Well,
It's
no,
real.
remember, it was because this is all because of the Supreme Court saying that what was it called when we were growing up?
Oh, affirmative action.
Affirmative
Right.
action. That's striking that down. That's
Right.
why. That's what this is. That has nothing to do with DEI.
Yeah.
Because the affirmative action happened almost 2
71.
years ago, wasn't it? No. The
The affirmative action happened a long time ago. It happened-
no. The Supreme Court striking
it
it
down.
down is
Oh, yeah, about
within
2
the
years
last
ago.
2 years.
2 years ago,
Right.
yeah.
So that's what they're using to study. It has nothing to do with DEI.
Well, okay.
No, it was no.
It was
Supreme
affirmative
Court
action
did
for
it.
the longest time. Supreme Court, when they dropped it down, said you can't do affirmative action.
But I'm saying that's what this is. This
Yeah.
this study is from.
Okay.
It's after that Supreme Court striking it down that there won't be any more Barack Obamas or whatever Supreme Court justices.
Well, it's like if there's not a, like I say, if they haven't have a proven track record and they can't stand on their own, they shouldn't be propped up either. I mean, and their whole
You were never propped up, were you?
no, I did I paid my due. I mean,
What was your white privilege?
yeah, it's like yeah. Well, they say because you went to school, you could afford to go to college. Well, yeah, and that so what?
So
Because a lot of
everybody
people
went to school.
went to college or whatever. And another thing is too, I went to like a Michigan State University back years ago. I don't know if they still do it. They give like a 0.5 added to GPAs to blacks typically and other minorities because they went to academically deprived educational institutions. I went to inner city schools in Flint, which were largely black and minorities, but black back
But you
then.
didn't get that.
Yeah, I didn't get that. So I mean, I went to the same educational institutions, but I was still expected to be better at academics than they were.
I mean, okay, I went to for different reasons. I went to 1, 2, 3, 4 different universities to finally get my degree to finish up my long distance learning and from Hawaiian Pacific University. Not one time did they ask for my GPA in high school.
No, it's when I went
I
first.
didn't have to produce any transcripts or even a high school diploma.
In fact, if you did produce transcripts,
No,
they were
but what I'm
happy
saying,
if
I
you
just
paid
don't
more money.
understand what schools require GPAs.
Certain programs and certain universities, yeah.
Mott didn't. Well, Mott was the only one that wanted my transcript.
See, that's you see now community college.
Community college is the only one that wanted my transcript from high school.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's the last one you went to, right? Wasn't that the one of the last ones you did?
No,
No.
that was the last college I went to. No,
No, Mott it's basically Mott was geared on the community college or junior colleges or something.
but I'm just saying. No, I went to universities and went to HPU. I went to CPU in Ashland and Kaplan. I didn't have to show any
No.
proof of a high school education or a GPA. I just don't understand where a GPA. What college would it help you to get into? Unless maybe an Ivy League.
That's usually the bigger schools.
So,
that
but
do
I'm
have it.
saying, how did that
Well,
GPA hurt you?
my GPA or lack of GPA.
Yeah. What college did stop you from getting into?
None because that's what I was going to say. Mott was even if I didn't have a low GPA. I just had
They
an
take
adequate
I
one.
went to Mott.
Yeah.
They take anybody that can breathe in Mott.
Well, that
Yeah.
was, but don't forget, I started in 1981,
When it
1981.
was real,
There was like there was
it
expectations.
wasn't a paper mill.
No. Well, the thing is, you can get admitted, but doesn't mean you can get admitted. You can get accepted, doesn't mean you're going to graduate.
You can get a 2-year degree in underwater basket weaving.
No, it's like, well, it's more than that. No, I'm not gonna
Even more
trash
than
mine.
that.
I'm
That's
not.
all. No, I'm saying that's all a 2-year degree is, a associate's degree. It might as well be in underwater
that's-
basket weaving. It's the same thing.
The people use it though? If they got kids going to college and want to go to university, they get they got to pay for it. They send them to a community college because there's a lot of transferability. I mean, you take
But
the big prereqs,
but
you
if
get
all
it
you're
cheaper.
going to do is get a associate's degree, there's no reason
No,
to
there's
go to college.
no. If that's all you're gonna, you gotta. It's usually geared towards going to a higher degree. You
Because
know?
that's what community college. If you're not going to go into nursing or going to be a respiratory
Therapist.
therapist,
right.
or you don't have to be a therapist, but you can still work in
Right.
respiratory and different things. If you're not going to do something in medical, then there's no reason to go to college.
No, it's like there are some. There's
Wow.
Nowadays,
no,
Trade
Well,
schools are probably the best. thing
trade
to go
school.
to.
See, I think I think there's going to be good people. It's good for
there's
some.
absolutely no reason in the world for a 2-year degree.
No,
No, I
They're
mean,
useless.
no, I mean, other than if you're thinking about going to college and
Right.
university, going
But
to
if you're
university.
not,
But yeah,
teachers shouldn't be pushing people to go to get a 2-year degree.
No.
Go get an associate's degree.
No.
What for?
it's smarter to just send them to a trade school and let them get something that's going to get them
a job.
Yeah, a good paying job.
Because yeah, the
Trades are
colleges.
going to the trades are
I
going
mean,
away, and you need to get the trade school
In
back.
1980 would have been when I would have went to college. College was a lot different in 1980
Yeah.
than it is right now.
Yeah, that's what I said. When I went to 81, I started school.
You actually had to show effort.
You
not,
did have
not
to-
just to set in the seat.
Yeah, you had to come through. You had to do other stuff. I mean, I had some real challenging classes. I mean, I had a couple of English classes over Mott. They're more challenging than the upper levels that I took at the University of Michigan. For like a composition and ability to write correctly and stuff. They're more challenging and more demanding than that on the basic classes at Mott than they were at U of M. And I'll tell you, and also in the areas of psychology.
But
there's
they
real
expect you to
challenging
be a
ones.
person. Okay, the atmosphere in a university is a lot different than in a 2-year
Yeah,
community college. They expect you to function as a person that can show up to a job every day,
discipline. Yeah, they
and
expect
be
you to have the discipline.
disciplined and do what they're not going to push you to do anything.
No.
If you don't do it, you don't do
You
it.
fail. You
You
don't
fail and repeat
if you want
and you
to.
pass.
It's very seldom you get failed totally out of school. You just retake it again. They don't throw you out. Like a lot of the colleges years ago and universities
They'll
would
throw
throw
you
you
out.
out. They were throwing you
Yeah.
out. Nowadays, no. It's it's a cash cow. You take a class over again, they're happy to have your money. So
I actually only was put on probation one time in college
yeah,
because I forgot that I had to attend classes.
yeah.
And I was kind of up in Traverse City versus being in Roscommon.
Yeah.
I had more fun. So that was probably
Did you go
wrong.
to Northwood?
No, I went to Kirtland Community College.
But did you
Didn't Kirtland take over Northwood?
I don't know. Could have. They got a big.
I
They
don't
got
know.
a.
But
big
it's a
campus
business
now.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know that Kirtland, they had a president that's actually doing major innovations on campus. There, got the campus built onto, made major inroads, and they're just really kicking ass. Turns out he had lied in his resume that he didn't have the qualifications he said he did.
No. I was on that committee.
Yeah,
I was on that.
Yeah,
committee.
did he
First
have
time I
it?
ever made it on a newspaper.
Yeah.
Was on that committee because I was the student rep for that committee.
yeah,
He was a vice president. Should have been taken over. He was one of the best guys they had.
Yeah.
Said that he went to University of Michigan. Said all this other stuff when we did all the. Because I actually sat in the.
Yeah.
So what happened?
He never went
did
to
they fire
college.
him?
He never went to college. They couldn't find him. He's like, okay, I'm done. Went out somewhere else. He's somewhere else now teaching or something.
but he did a good job though, right?
He did a great
That's
job.
that's my point. That's what I was going to say. He didn't have all the qualifications he said he did, but he still did.
He brought so
everything.
much money into
Yeah.
the campus at that time, and everyone was a job that. So he only put a lot of us out there for just being like a rubber stamp this thing through. And then we found out that we became on USA Today and all this other stuff. People were going, "What the hell are you thinking?" This is the first year I went to college. So I went to college, so I have some credits so I could get in the
Yeah.
Navy and
Right.
actually be up before NE1. And I was job I had, and my boss came in and said, "Todd, I need you in this. I need you on this thing. You have dinners with these guys will be a simple thing. It's just dinners. You just listen to all these different
what?
candidates, but we know what you want. We're president of Kirtland Community College."
Oh,
He said, "You just have dinner with the board of
Yeah.
advisors and all that, and then just say what you want to say." And then I sat there, and the next thing you know, they already knew who they wanted, And then when they went to did just the last thing of it, they couldn't find that he went to. He said he went to Michigan State. He said he went to Michigan.
So anyway,
he went to all these colleges, and he didn't have one thing where he never
but,
showed up at one
but
college.
like John said, he did an excellent
He
job.
did an excellent job.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I've heard of people who are the excellent guy applying for a job as a janitor at a school, and he got hired as a teacher. And when they did the testing, the kids he taught actually had better scores and had better attitudes than the people who had actually gone to educational blocks and stuff like that to become teachers. So it does basically you work harder.
But you see, when a person is real and they have life experience other than going to a college to learn how to be a teacher and just be thrown in front of kids,
Right.
you either have it or you don't.
Right.
And there's people that don't have it, but they still teach because they have that degree, and that's what.
I'm a teacher.
Well,
it's not their fault.
I had a sociology professor over at U of M. He went to Harvard, Princeton, and Johns Hopkins. Okay, he had backgrounds in there. You know how he would lecture? He'd open up a textbook and he'd read line by line from the textbook.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no way to present anything.
No.
But that's what they do.
But look at Mr. Moss.
Right.
He doesn't act like a Ivy leaguer or someone who's overly educated. Well, he is overly educated, both on his own and in college. But he's one of those people that everybody respects.
I tell people all the time, and you probably heard me say this when I was in the University of Flint here in Flint. I had better education going on in the smoking section, and I wasn't a smoker, arguing with people about politics, psychology, different schools of thought in psychology. Because if you took a camp and you took it, you ran with it, you had to defend it intellectually. And if you couldn't, you had to abandon it.
People make fun of TikTok all the time. How many times do I send you videos that make you think?
Yeah, several, most 90%, 95% of the time, man. I mean,
I never get a video from you.
Because you never answer.
You never answer.
But I mean, like about women being pastors.
The
one.
Yeah, that was
Did
good.
you see that one?
Yeah,
What's your viewpoint on that?
I think he's right. If he said he was the guy we're talking about. He said he couldn't be a pastor
He couldn't be a pastor either.
by the criteria. And so because you had to be married, a married man of one wife, have control over your family and all this, and you got to have the experience. No wine and stuff like that. Not given to wine. And it's true. I mean, you want a sober person.
Okay, but you can drink wine without getting drunk, and just because you like the taste.
Well, I think the way the Bible, the King James says, not given too much wine or something like that, means don't be a drunk, And I said, but there is a criteria on that. I mean, so yeah, but he also he said that women could be teachers.
Now they can because they bent the rules,
right? And so,
if you go strictly by what the Bible says, no,
right?
But because of the society that we live in, it's allowed to break the rules.
Don't stand up and say that. Do not stand up and say that women can't be pastors.
But that's what the Bible says, though.
But the first time you say that to somebody, oh my God.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not accepted in today's society. But that's the same thing with the glass of water that I sent you. Maybe you can explain better than I can.
Glass water.
About the polluted water and the clean water.
Oh, that one I read, but I don't know if I do an adequate job explaining that because I didn't. I read through it once. So I don't know how to explain it. Without having to look at it again.
About how they presented 2 glasses of water. This is the King James Bible. And this is a glass of water. It's clear.
Right.
And this is all other versions of the Bible. And then he takes another glass of unclean water and he just pours a drop into the all other versions of the Bible. The Bible's out there. And he holds up the glasses and says, which one would you rather drink from?
Right.
The pure one, which would the King James, or the
one that's the other versions. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not a King James Version person, but I think there's a great deal of value, and I'm not going to ever try to attack the veracity of the people on that committee to create the King James. It wasn't nothing.
But what you're saying is the King James Bible is more true to the teachings and what's been written in all these other Bibles. There are different versions and they're changed.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like the females can be pastors.
Right. And they've taken out different things about virgin birth. They've taken out different things like that.
They've taken major tenets of Christianity and because it's problematic. Or wasn't it found in this text?
If anything, maybe if you're not a purist, at least you should look at the King James version and then go back and look at the Bible that you're using.
I like the parallel Bibles. Those are my favorite ones.
The ones where you look at this one says this, this one says this.
Yeah, you can see the King James, you can see the Schofield, you can see the straight
Yeah.
at the same time, and I can kind of read them all in NIV, so you can see what every verse is saying, right? So it compares.
But
at
doesn't it
least,
make you scratch your head?
uh,
If something's a lot, I mean, if
it's
something's a
something
lot
totally
different,
you got to go back to the Greek and the Hebrew, and that's the problem. Is people don't go back to the Greek and the Hebrew because they don't want to go past the studying of anything. It's like what we do in real life. We don't really
well,
want to study things.
people don't. I mean, I can't. I've
How many-
never read the Bible completely all the way through. Most people haven't because they can't, because they don't understand it, because it's not that easy, and that's why they go to church to have a learned person
Explain it.
explain it to them.
That's why I always went to church for. And then a lot of times I'd find something where I thought they were in error, and that's going to happen. But I mean, now I've heard a lot of people going to they like the NASB, and I guess Josh McDowell when I
New American Standard
New
Version.
American Standard Bible.
that
But
one
I've seen that tore up so many
Yeah.
places.
But really, if you actually really look at that Bible, it actually is one of the closest ones to
The actual the wording and stuff. It's kind of a flat. Doesn't have the resonance. Doesn't have the poeticness sounding thing.
Right.
The language of the King James, but
it's a stripped down version of King James.
well, another thing is I always detest. They always say, well, King James was a homosexual. Okay, if he might be, and I don't know. That could it's historically I
He's
don't
not the
know.
one that wrote
Right.
it.
He didn't
He's
write
the
it.
one- He's the person that approved it.
And
Okay, hold up. Historically, actually, no. There's a point to that one.
Right.
The first Bible that was written by King James, what he actually not that he handwritten,
Right.
but the first one he endorsed had homosexuality, all those places and homosexuality
Yeah,
removed from the
supposedly
Bible.
he took it out.
Right.
But then guess and you can see that if you go back to the old version. But he also endorsed the one that goes out to the copy of everybody, out to the poor, out to everyone else. So it was the poor man, the peasants. That a few years later, they actually did an extension version of it. That's the real King James. That
Right.
is to today. The first one was to take screw you to the archbishop. That was what he did because he wanted to kill his wife and marry this person. It's the history. If you study the history of everything, you find out.
Well, I'm
exactly
sure
what
there was
that's
probably
what
a
it-
lot left out because of political
Oh yeah,
leanings, or
but what he did
you
was,
had to make the king look good, right?
but the king had this version that could tell the archbishop, "Go screw yourself." But when he wrote this one, this was for the peasants. And then when you come
So
over here
when
and
the
find
original version
Lutherans
ended
and
up
all
going
sorts,
out,
original
with the
version went out.
homosexuality being in it.
is back into it.
That's what I was going to say. The versions I ever read of the King James, the prohibition against homosexuality and calling it an abomination was in there. So, and I've read some very old copies of it.
Go
but-
back to the original old one.
Well, I got a facsimile. Oh, look, they'll do that because I got a facsimile
And if
copy.
you
of
really
the
want to do
1611.
that, go to the one that's in Craigle's over.
But it
there.
doesn't matter. It's in there now, and I would never go anything for Prager University because of
Yeah,
I don't like the person
I don't like-
that
Ooh,
founded it.
not Prager. I'm
Why
talking
he
about
put his
Craigle's.
own name?
What was that?
Craigle's bookstore.
Craig-
Oh,
okay,
Prager's
Prager's.
bookstore. I thought Prager U. I have nothing to do with that place.
No, because I
I mean that's propaganda as far as I'm
Yeah, I do
concerned.
too.
You might as well be going.
he's a
But I
neocon.
Might as well be going watching
Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro Network.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I don't care for him, but I do like the King James. That's one I prefer, and I go to a church that actually uses a total different translation. But there was an Orthodox priest, an Orthodox monk. His name is Brother Nathaniel. He was raised Jewish, and he became a Orthodox Christian.
Right.
A monk, and he actually said he loves the King James versions of. Well, he said it actually is very good at capturing the language of the Psalms from the Hebrew. The King
Yes.
James version is the best. One of the and he reads that. See, other like the Orthodox churches, they'll for the study Bible they use the English version of the Septuagint, which was Hebrew translated Greek. Then they took the Greek for that was translated English.
Right.
They use that for the Old Testament, and then the New Testament is a New King James
Right.
version for this the one I have, the study Bible. So I mean, I guess that's a nod to that. But what I asked an Orthodox, he said we're not real particular about the translation of the Bible, which kind of puzzles me because I think if they had one that there was more geared towards backed up their position, their theological position, they'd be adamant about that, but they don't seem to be. So I mean, but see, I like the Orthodox churches because they didn't get embroiled in all the crap that the Roman Catholic Church did. They don't have purgatory in it, which I don't find any scriptural basis for.
Then what do
And-
you find? Okay, the scriptural basis for that
Yeah.
is Lazarus.
Yeah,
Remember when he died?
Yeah.
Went to, and that's where they use the
Did-
story. And the Catholic Church was at that time was losing money,
right.
so they went and grabbed that part.
Yeah,
Hung
so,
onto it.
but the Orthodox didn't have what you've heard of the toll houses, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's just kind of a puzzling thing. And it actually, you don't have to believe necessarily in toll houses to be considered a good Orthodox. And also, I know a lot of Catholics were good Catholics, but they didn't believe in purgatory.
And the other side is that we also left out, and over the years, through the years, even before it got to the King James, we've left out in all the different things, all the different books of the Bible between the Old Testament and the New
Right.
Testament. We've left out Bel and the Dragon. We've left out the Book of Enoch. We've left out millions of different other books that
There's
we didn't-
millions.
There's hundreds of other
Yeah.
books that have been written
It's like,
that was in the original. That was in the original one that we've cut it down
Right.
to be where it's
I guess the one that's got more comprehensive, and I don't even know if it's all inclusive, but it's got way more than the Orthodox and the Roman Catholic, and certainly most of them more than the Protestant 66 version Bibles is the Orthodox, Ethiopian Bible.
Yep.
Like 88 books or something like that,
Mhm.
and that's quite. And another thing is too, we do have a Book of Enoch, but the question is that a legitimate book of Enoch that we're translating from?
that's
Yeah.
that's been that has been my thought the last 6 months is that because I really want to read it, but I'm really trying to figure out where that falls into everything.
Well, another thing, so I've read a lot of the
Book of
books.
Enoch?
I've read first and second chapter books of Maccabees.
Yeah, I read
Yeah, I've
those.
read those, and that's actually cool because it actually talks about the interim period of like when the Greeks were ruling and stuff like that, and the uprising against them, and then against the Romans again.
It
Yeah,
still keeps
Greeks,
giving you the history.
Greeks, yeah.
It still keeps giving you the history of the Bible.
Yeah, but another thing is too, right in the book of Jude, which is only one chapter, there's a reference to a book that we don't find in our scripture that we do have as a Protestant, and that's about the contention between the body of Moses, between Satan and the
Yeah,
Archangel
when
Michael.
Michael comes.
So
up.
where's that come from? That's not in our scripture. That's not our scripture as Protestants, but we read that in the book of Jude, which I've known all Protestants to have in their Bible,
Yeah.
So it's a question.
Get the boat.
And then they're gonna have to come. Or you got a question?
No, what are you gonna say?
I just said that's a question. It's gonna have to wait for another day, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I thought you
Time
was
to go.
time to go. That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
go for.
Yeah.
Yeah.